What's going on, everybody? WNBA. We got 1, 2, 3 games all starting late tonight, so we should have plenty of time to review these props. Plenty of time for you viewers to lock them in. If you enjoy this content, guys, gonna be giving you guys a bunch of free value in these videos. I promise. I promise. I promise. It would be greatly appreciated if you watch all the way through. Leave a like, leave a comment, and share with a friend. We are going to be breaking down the process of how to actually make money on these apps. There's going to be millions and millions of dollars of data reviewed in these videos talking about how it's valuable to you, how it can actually help you win money on these apps. There's a bunch of different people that provide content, some of which learning, some trying their best. But I promise you, this is going to be a channel with a ton of valuable resources. We've been on quite a run on the MLB videos, so hopefully you've been tuning into those. If you haven't, once again, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload over there. We just had a nice 3-pick sweep. Not last video. Last video we went 2 out of 3. But the video before, 3 out of 3, looking to keep it going. And if you go over to my YouTube community page, you can see all the VIP winners. I give as many shout outs as I can. I do offer premium content. I'm coming on and sharing with you guys a free premium play in this content today. You can get access to every single one of my plays over in my Discord. It does cost you monthly, but once again, it's instantaneous with all these different resources you'll hear me discuss. Take advantage of all the matches, all the sign-up bonuses, guys. We talk about Prizepicks. They'll give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 over there with the promo code KJKDFS. I'll have my link down below, pinned as the top comment, all my links to make it nice and easy on you. We also do have Underdog Fantasy. It'll hook you up with a sweet deal all the way up to $1,000. Make sure you have all your apps for one reason and one reason only. So if they change the lines, they move them around, you can jump around, get the best plays, and also get some free money. Once again, if you don't have the Underdog Fantasy, it's as simple as signing up. Use the promo code KJKDFS. My link down below. They'll give you all the way up to 1,000. And last, Betr. We'll get into the plays here. But just keep in mind, you can get plenty of free sign-up bonuses. Betr will give you a 100% deposit match up to, or a free $10 right away is their new offers. So let's talk about it. We'll go game by game. We'll go play by play here. We'll just go play by play. The first play we're going to be talking about in this video today is going to come on the Minnesota Lynx. First thing I want to go over is we do have confirmed injury news across the board for all 3 of these games tonight, which is a big deal. These lines are going to change. The value is going to change, obviously, based upon injury news. You know, if Cameron Brink was in, the rebounding line for her teammates would be way different because she's a tall center, for instance. On the Spark, she's out. She's been out, but I'm just using that as an example. We have all this confirmed injury news. Natasha Mack, Alyssa Thomas, probable, so expect them to be in. All these other ladies, out. So we don't got to worry about any pending injury news tonight, which is a big deal. And first play is going to be the Napheesa Collier. We will pull up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. If you don't know what this tool is, guys, I'm using it every single day to find the very best plays on these apps. It's going to bring in multi-million-dollar sportsbook data into an optimizer and calculate the odds for each and every single prop to hit. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, every single day, these multi-million-dollar companies, FanDuel, DraftKings, if you watch any sort of sport, you've probably seen their advertising because it's getting insane now. They're all over the place. Think of it as a business. They are a business. They're multi-billion-dollar businesses, and they set lines every single day on each and every single prop under the sun, and they set a price for you to take the over or the under, and they also do set it at a number. So the first thing I want to discuss here is we are seeing Napheesa Collier listed up to 33.5 points and rebounds on 2 major sportsbooks on the DGF Optimizer. BetMGM and Caesars has her all the way up to a 33.5 line on the points and rebounds prop. We're getting 31.5. So what does this mean? We have an entire 2 points and rebounds gap in the market. 33.5, 31.5. That is a very, very, very big deal. These markets are very precise. It's not very often you're going to see a 2 gap in the market. And when you do, it's screaming at you to either take the over or the under on whatever side of that gap you're getting. So we're getting the 31.5 points and rebounds on Prizepicks. That's a huge deal. Like an entire 2 points and rebounds prop higher on other markets is just telling us we're getting an insanely good deal on the over at that 31.5 line. So hopefully that makes sense, right? They're factoring in the pace of the game, the matchup, Napheesa Collier's minutes, Napheesa Collier's ability to rebound and score. They know all of these things. You know, she's arguably the best player on the Lynx. So her line's going to be a little bit higher. That's the 31.5 for a good reason. And then you can certainly look at the match, but all that stuff. Another tool that I'm using every single day is going to be Outlier. If you do not have them, once again, I'm just coming on, breaking down the process for you guys, telling you exactly the tools I'm using. And I don't promote anything I don't actually use, and they'll give you 7 days completely free with my link down below. So it's kind of foolish not to take advantage of that offer. Once again, I'll have it pinned as the top comment. All my links. We'll pull in Nafisa Collier here. And I like to go ahead and sort this implied probability column. It's that same concept that I talked about on the DGF optimizer, where it's giving you a percentage to hit. Then you can scroll down and see all the props. Obviously, we do need to target the ones that are available on Prizepicks. This is a Prizepicks video. But the 31.5 points and rebounds, you can see they're giving us a 53% chance to hit on the over. We go ahead and we bring it in. The beautiful thing about outliers, they're not only going to give you that market data that I discussed, but also all of the underlying statistics and metrics, so you can do your own research if you're someone that likes that. Once again, she's a -128 favorite on Sleeper, -125 favorite on FanDuel, and you can see we have the 31.5 selected. She's listed all the way up to, once again, 33.5 in multiple markets. She is aggressively favored on the under, but it's an entire 2 points in rebounds higher in these markets. Like, that's insane. And then you look at the matchup. She's taking on Seattle. They're 6th, middle of the pack. There's 13 teams in the WNBA, and they're giving up 78.8 points per game, 34.9 rebounds per game. She is listed as a forward. Once again, they're middle of the pack, 6th and 6th. So it's a pretty, middle of the pack matchup. Nothing, not too bad, not too good. But then we go ahead and we look at her minutes, 36.6 minutes per game. She's shooting 17.4 times per game. Obviously, we want her to shoot the basketball as many times as possible if we're targeting an over, where she shoots 51% from the field. She's getting to the free throw line 5.4 attempts per game. She's shooting 89% from the free throw line, so she's a very effective free throw shooter, very good at knocking those down. And then we look at the offensive and defensive rebounding opportunities. She's getting 8.7 per game on average, 6.4 on the defensive glass, 2.3 on the offensive glass. So once again, this is all factored into that multi-million-dollar sportsbook data, but she's very clearly a very effective shooter that shoots a ton and gets a lot of rebounds. So, we need that. The line's set appropriately for that being the case. But we'll take as many data points as we can possibly get. And then last, we're going to get real detail-oriented with this first play, guys. And then, we can speed things up as the video goes along. You'll kind of get the point. But OddsJam Sportsbook Screen, another phenomenal tool that I'm using every single day, because we want to be making sure we're getting the best deal, the best bang for our buck. They'll give you 35% off of my link down below. I have the points and rebounds pulled in here. We can go down to Nafisa Collier. Once again, we kind of discussed, how she is at a very good price at the 31.5 number specifically. And we can get even more detail-oriented. I'm going to go ahead and take this graphic away real quick so you guys can see the Nafisa Collier. Actually, we'll go ahead and type her name in here. We'll make sure she's the only one on the screen. And you're going to see here, average odds. We're looking at 32.3 with her favorite on the under at -129.7. Now, I have 283 sports books selected. You are looking at millions and millions and billions of dollars of data on your screen right now, pulled in all at the same time. The best possible place you could be placing this is on Betr at +100 at 31.5, so you can make an argument to go over there if you do have them. But once again, not everybody has every single book. 32.5, barely favored on the under on Caesars. That's an entire points and rebounds prop higher at live at the time of recording. Ballybet 32.5. We talked about BetMGM. She's all the way up to 33.5. She is aggressively favored on the under, but we don't care because we're getting 31.5. So as long as she ends with 32 or 33, which is essentially what they're expecting her to end with on BetMGM, 33, we're going to be happy. 32.5 over on BetRivers. All of these different places have her at either at 32 or 33. We're getting 31. So as I go along here, you're really starting to understand, we're just getting a really good deal. The Score and ESPN Bet both have her listed at 32.5 favorite on the under. So at the 31.5, we want to be jumping on that over as soon as possible, because we have multiple markets listing her up at 32, 33, an entire points and rebounds prop higher. It's a really big deal. So it's a phenomenal prop to start the video here today. The Nafisa Collier points and rebounds prop. You can head on down once again to the late game. She's listed at 31.5 on Prizepicks. You could certainly look around the industry as well. I know that Underdog Fantasy does not have her listed. If we go ahead and pull up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer once again, you can see they don't have her available, but Betr does have her available. Once again, with a 53.31% chance to hit on the over, bringing in all that data that we discussed. So if you head on over to, the Betr platform, they will have her listed on the points and rebounds category as well. So you can lock it in over there if you do have Betr. All right, people. So let's continue along here. That's the first play. We got the Nafisa Collier over 31.5 points and rebounds. Love that prop to start things off. We'll speed things up now over the next two. Next two props going to be coming from the same exact game. We got the LA Sparks taking on the Las Vegas Aces. As far as the total in this game and all that fun stuff, we're looking at a 167.5 over under. It is a 10-point spread in favor of the Las Vegas Aces. So this game has the second highest total on the slate, trailing only this Dallas Wings game, but expected to go at a pretty decent pace here, which should help both of these props that we're going to be discussing, because we are going to be talking about some overs. We'll start things off with the away side in Miss Derica Hamby, and I got a prop that's really popping for me over on, once again, Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We've got the over 3.5 assists here tonight. She is aggressively favored at -132 on the over on Pinnacle, -135 on the over on FanDuel. If you don't know what these price tags mean, I keep explaining it. But you're going to have to risk $135 to win $100 to take the over 3.5 assists on FanDuel Sportsbook. And the reason they're doing that is because they're saying it's far likely she goes over than under. So we don't care if we're taking overs or unders on this channel. All that we care is we're taking the side that's most likely to win. So we got a 53.74% edge to hit on the over, a 3.74% edge on this prop here tonight. This is how you actually make money on these apps. You find these edges every single day. They're essentially saying, she's going to go out there and she's going to either end with 3 or 4 assists. There's a higher likelihood she ends with 4. We're going to set the line at 3.5, and we're going to charge you a higher price to take the over. That's how this works, guys. That's how they stay in business. They charge you a price for every single prop. And over time, we could get real complex about it. There's a whole business model, obviously, that keeps them in business, but the price is what keeps them in business. So we can use the price on these apps. We can use this multi-million-dollar sportsbook data. You can see she's up to a 52% chance to hit on Outlier. And once again, Outlier, these tools are phenomenal for breaking down the matchup. You can see this bright green here. There's 13 teams in the WNBA. The Aces rank 12th in the league as far as giving up assists. They're giving up a ton of assists per game. So another great example. Outlier does a phenomenal job of bringing in that multi-million-dollar sportsbook data and then the underlying metrics right next to it, so you can kind of paint a full picture of why the over is a good play. It makes perfect sense. The Aces are giving up 22 assists per game. You look at the forward position most notably, because that's where Derica Hamby's listed. They're giving up 6.4 assists per game to the forward position. Everything's matching up here for her to go over. Once again, Pinnacle is known as the sharpest, smartest sports book in the world. I like to I say it all the time if you've been watching my content, but think of it. I think this is the easiest way to think of it. Like, if this is the smartest kid in your class, it's a straight A student, and you're a D student in history, let's say, and they're circling, A on a multiple choice question. Pinnacle's saying it, -132 to go over. There's a far more likelihood to go over. They're the best at setting these lines out of any sportsbook. It only makes sense to use them as a reference point to find the very best plays on these apps. Then once again, we can certainly pull up, the OddsJam Sportsbook screen to get real detail oriented. I'll go ahead and I'll bring in the player assists. We'll look at every single data point that we have here tonight when it comes to Miss Derica Hamby, and it once again is going to paint a picture for us. Like, she's going to be favored in all of these different books. She's listed at -132 on Pinnacle, as discussed. She's up to -135 on FanDuel. She's listed at 4.5 on DraftKings, only listing her over as a one-way market. So that's another great example of they're really expecting her to end with 4 assists here tonight. -150 on the over on Bally Bet, only a one-way market. So this is a crazy good prop, man. I mean, we're looking at like -150 or greater on a lot of these different books, compared to the 119 price we're getting on Prizepicks in a 5 or 6 pick flex. I am promoting a 3 pick, so we're getting -122 implied odds actually on those 3 pick entries on Prizepicks, but it's still way better than the average odds of 133.5, right? So getting good bang for our buck. This is the the data that's going in behind every single play. If you're new to it, I try to break it down as clear cut as possible. They are listing this even as a Green Goblin, but they have it listed as a standard prop too. Don't take the Green Goblin. They're going to not pay you out as much money when you can just simply take the standard prop over here, and they're going to pay you out, your full payout. So the Derica Hamby over 3.5 assists. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to discuss the other side, the center, the big, tall center in the middle for the Las Vegas Aces, A'ja Wilson. And we will be discussing her rebound prop tonight. We'll be taking the over a ton of different data points favoring her over. This is crazy. Minus 130 or greater on every single one of these sports books. We got a 53.04% chance on the over. She's minus 132 on Pinnacle, minus 132 on FanDuel, minus 130 on DraftKings, minus 130 on BetMGM, minus 130 on Caesars. Like, this is crazy. Just millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of data, all favoring her over. Once again, they stay in business by setting these lines right. We can certainly get more detail-oriented over on the Outlier platform with our friends at Outlier. Let's go ahead and type in A'ja Wilson. Let's look at her rebounding prop. I have it sorted by this implied probability. You can sort it by last 10, all that stuff. I would advise implied probability. That's the same concept. You know, what's the percentage of us winning this prop using the multi-million-dollar sports book? They have a 54% chance on the over, and you see the bright green. Outlier does a good job. You know, if we're targeting the over, they're going to have that bright green telling you it's a good matchup for the over. If we're targeting the under, they're going to have it bright green saying it's a good matchup for the under. We have the over selected. 9th in the league are the LA Sparks. Once again, there's 13 teams in the WNBA. They're giving up 35.2 rebounds per game. A'ja Wilson is a center, as discussed, so we can go ahead and look at the center position. Giving up 9 rebounds per game to the center, so not quite as much rebounds given up to the center position. Most notably, though, overall, giving up a lot of rebounds. She's exceeded 10.5 rebounds in 4 of her last 5 home games, 12.4 rebounds per game on average with an 80% hit rate as well. So Outlier brings in a bunch of different insights, you know, telling us her home road splits. And then you look at the breakdown. She's grabbing 10.6 defensive rebounds per game, 1.8 offensive rebounds per game for an average of 12.4 total rebounds per game. So once again, these multi-million-dollar sports books know all this stuff. They're going to set her line at 10.5. They're going to say, you know, it's more than likely she grabs either 10 or 11 rebounds. There's a higher likelihood since she's averaging 12.4 on average. She's going to go over. We're going to charge you a price. Minus 150 on Hard Rock, minus 145 on Sleeper, minus 140 on DraftKings. You can see that by far the best price you can get this is on Prizepicks, and we're getting minus 122 in a 3-pick entry. We once again just have so much data telling us, you know, that it's smart to take the over on A'ja Wilson's rebounds tonight on the Prizepicks platform. Our 3-pick entry, they do now pay out 6x. We can go ahead and bring in our friends over at OddsJam once again to get as detail-oriented as possible. We can literally see every single possible place that they're listing A'ja Wilson's rebounds tonight, and you know it's the same story. Minus 132 Pinnacle, minus 132 FanDuel, minus 130 DraftKings. She's up to 11.5 on Ballybet. It's a one-way market with plus money on the over, so they're saying it's not as likely that she goes over the 11.5, but they're banking on her getting at least 11 rebounds. Once again, more data indicating to us, you know, the 10.5 is a really good price tag. She's all the way up to 12.5 on Betway. Once again, plus money on the over, so they're saying, you know, we're going to force you to take the side of the prop that's not as likely to hit, but it's all the way up to 12.5. It's just another data point telling us, you know, the 10.5, she's very likely to go over. These books, these companies are setting themselves up for success to not lose too much money by charging a price for people to take the over. It's how this works, all right, people? So really, really good prop there. To round things out on the video today, the A'ja Wilson over 10.5 rebounds. And that will be my 3 props to get you winning some money tonight in the WNBA streets. Really want this to go well, guys. I did provide this for all 3 of my tiers, actually, over in my premium. So I give you guys a bunch of free value on this channel, man. I come on, I give you guys actual, you know, plays that I'm providing, and I break down the process over in my premium. So I know a ton of different people, you know, offer a premium content package, but they may not, you know, come on and explain, you know, what actually goes into it. I want you to actually know that I know what I'm doing, kind of explain all the data that I have access to, all of the reasoning, you know, this is how you actually make money on these apps by finding these edges. So that 10.5 rebounds for A'ja Wilson on the over will be the final play. And I believe you can get that on all 3 apps. You can see, yeah, they do have this available on Underdog Fantasy as well. Using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, it brings in all that data, so that makes us happy, and then on Betr Picks as well. So if you do want to head over, you know, to another platform, such as an Underdog Fantasy, such as a Betr Picks, you know, you do have that option as well, which always makes me happy. I try to promote plays if I can. I can't control these apps and when they change the plays and take them down and all that stuff. But I try to promote plays that you can get on multiple apps. So the A'ja Wilson over 10.5 rebounds, that final play, you can get over on Underdog as well. So take advantage. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, I will have my premium content packages linked down below. If you haven't hopped over there, I don't know what you're waiting on. If you want to go ahead and win some money with the free plays and then hop in, that's fine. But I do offer a 7-day free trial on the Launch Off member package. I went ahead and launched that to get you in free so that you can get access to 1 optimal ticket per day to build up your bankroll. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're not ready to go all in. But YouTube community page tells the story. We've been doing well over there. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck on your WNBA player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.